If your back has ever locked up to the point that it's so painful that you can barely move, it can be exceptionally frightening. It often feels like something has slipped or even broken. Yet, despite this, believe it or not, what's actually going on underneath is not that serious and very treatable. My name's Anthony Ghosh. I'm a consultant spinal neurosurgeon and director of the Spine MDT. In this video, I'm going to explain what actually happens when your back locks up, how it can be treated, and the scenarios when it is a bit more serious. The pain often is from a sudden tightening of these muscles shown here on the MRI scan of a slice through the lumbar spine. So the front, the back, right and left, and these here are the muscles either side of your back. Sometimes these muscles acutely or suddenly tighten up when the brain senses a potential threat, even though there may not be any underlying structural damage. Because the muscles then contract so tightly, almost like a spasm, the initiation of movement only triggers worsening pain. But interestingly, as we learn later on, when you work through that pain and do actually break through that barrier of pain and start to move, things will eventually ease up. As the pain grips you so much, we then start to develop this cycle of pain where the initiation of each movement worsens the pain. We believe something really bad is happening and develop what we call false guarding mechanisms where we tighten up even more, and then it's a continuous cycle. Phrases I often hear patients use are "my back has gone" or "my back went." The myths I want to debunk is that nothing has actually slipped out of place, or that the alignment of your spine hasn't suddenly shifted, or a vertebrae, one of the building blocks of your spine, hasn't suddenly moved, and certainly nothing has fractured and no disc has exploded. Believe it or not, your spine is actually the most robust part of your skeleton. Vertebrae, the building blocks of your spine, don't just suddenly slip out of alignment. It takes a huge amount of force for that to happen. Otherwise, the misalignment of vertebrae is a very slow, long-term process with chronic wear and tear that doesn't really happen acutely and suddenly. I often see this in people whose muscles have deconditioned over a prolonged period of time, usually from a sedentary lifestyle. If perhaps you've been sitting at a desk for many years of your life, you don't exercise much, the muscles that support and protect your spine weaken over time, and then sudden movements that can actually often be trivial, not necessarily lifting a lot of weight, can cause a sudden spasm in the back when they fatigue. When these muscles fatigue, they spasm, they become tight, and then you get this acute bout of pain. And yes, sometimes there can be a structural cause, commonly a tear in the lining of one of the discs shown here on this scan, which contains the disc material. We call this an annular tear. This sometimes causes a small leakage of inflammatory fluid from the disc that just stings the surrounding structures and again sends the muscles into a sort of spasm to tighten and protect everything up. But once again, this usually settles down with time. As the disc annulus, the lining, scars over, things heal up and patients fully recover from this. I've got a separate video describing this condition linked below. And this is very different from a slipped or herniated disc where the disc material leaks out, pinching nerves, causing leg pain. To treat the acute setting, I advise trying, if you can, to move through it. Yes, that initial movement is going to aggravate things, but you've got to remember it's highly unlikely you're causing any harm despite that pain. I don't mean doing anything too strenuous, just try if you can and move through it and gently walk through it. Simple over-the-counter painkillers such as paracetamol, ibuprofen can help take the edge off it ever so slightly to help you walk through it, and in the majority of patients this usually settles down anything from between a few hours to a couple of days. There are also anti-inflammatory gels you can rub over the area to help soothe things, and also breathing exercises. Deep, slow breaths in through the nose, hold for a couple of seconds and slowly out through the mouth can help improve blood flow. In this phase, I try and avoid any aggressive or sudden manipulations of the back, such as back cracking or adjustments carried out by various therapists. Whilst applying heat can be soothing, that's fine, but be very careful. I have personally seen skin mottling and burning from hot water bottles. Once things have settled down, we now want to move on to prevention of further episodes and general maintenance of your back. Getting into the routine of doing exercises that help strengthen your spine, for example, joining a Pilates class or even a gym where you can do resistance exercises to help strengthen the spine, will help prevent future episodes by reconditioning those muscles that support your spine. Trying to change your lifestyle to a less sedentary one is also really helpful. If this is happening to you repeatedly with a background of chronic pain that's in the background that's been going on for quite some time, another form of therapy that I really believe in, and it's backed by research, is cognitive functional therapy. What I talked about earlier, addressing some of the beliefs you may have about your spine, it being fragile, it being broken, it being badly damaged. We need to address those beliefs, and therefore any behavioral things you're doing that you believe might be protecting your spine but actually making things worse. There are good studies on this. It's not all in your head, but there are good studies on this that prove addressing these things have a massive impact in addressing long-term back pain and preventing further acute episodes. So when is it serious? When do we have to get concerned? It's usually when nerves in your spine are threatened. So let's say you have pain going down one of your legs, that's sciatica, that means a nerve in the spine is probably pinched. Again, that usually settles down, but be wary if you've got pain going down both legs, or if you've got any numbness down in your genital region or any difficulty passing urine, you need to seek help urgently. If you are female and beyond menopause with a background of osteoporosis, that can be a fracture, even though there hasn't been a significant traumatic or high force event. It's more common again in postmenopausal women, but we do occasionally see it in some men as well. In this scenario, the pain tends to persist, often worse when standing for a period of time or leaning on that particular part of your back. These fractures, as again, can occur in osteoporosis or when the bones are a bit more brittle, but also various other conditions like cancers that may spread to the bone can cause this. So that's when to be concerned if you have a background of a recent cancer and the pain is persisting. That's something to be aware of. Seek urgent medical attention just in case. So to summarize, whilst these pains feel acute and severe and everything locks up, usually there isn't really an underlying significant structural problem. Trying to move through the pain is going to get you through it quicker, and changing your lifestyle, becoming a bit less sedentary, focusing on exercises to strengthen your spine can help prevent future episodes. And remember, any weakness in the legs, difficulty passing urine, or a background of osteoporosis or recent cancers, that's when I want you to seek medical attention. As always, I really hope you found this video helpful. If so, please click that like button and do subscribe to the channel. Also visit us at spinemdt.com to see how we can help you. Thank you very much for watching.